So you remember on Thursday, I made a video and I said that we are expecting this market to, since it has broken below this trend line on GBPUSD, we said we want to see the market come and retest as this trend line, but on a psychological level. And now we see on Friday, the market came to this psychological level, but it was not close to the trend line. So the market goes and hunts for the psychological level that is closer to the trend line. So you can see GBPUSD comes and trades above to this level. And then when it rejects that psychological level, when the trend line is also in the presence, and then the market now gets a sell-off. So we see the market comes to this level, and I called this trade when the market was still at this level, when the market had just given us this. When we go to 30 minutes, so 30 minutes gives us the exact trade entry that I gave us. I saw this pin bar rejection, this candle rejection on the psychological level, and I called the trade all immediately. And I said that we're now going to sell GBPUSD right away. If you can go and watch the video I uploaded on Friday. And you can see the market has held very well. So what are we going to look out for next week? This is what we have. So we have a major zone here. We have a major resistance point here that the market has broken above. So now we have this trend line also coming in to feed us as a third touch on this trend line. So once we come to this level, so on GBPUSD, should the market come and trade below to this end, to this area, and the market rejects this trend line with this mass resistance turning to support now, then we are going to be now going into buys again on GBPUSD. However, it is also having more possibilities of the market breaking below this trend line and then trade low to as low as, so we could come to this area, this former resistance turning to support. The market can come and feed into this zone on this trend line also, and then we get another push up on GBPUSD. Or we want to see the market come and break below this trend line. So on EURUSD, we also have the same moves that are happening. So we can see EURUSD also broke above this area, this zone, and then now was hunting for the retest on this psychological level. But the retest must happen at a psychological level with a trend line being blended. So we can see the market comes to this zone, comes straight up here, and comes and finds the psychological level that we had over here, and then rejects that psychological level. At that point is when we take our entry, selling from here, stop loss right above there, and we are targeting. First of all, we said we have minimum target of the next psychological level, and then we have these lows, and then the other one is going to be these lows. So we want to see market comes to feed into this. Now, why have I put this box in this zone? Why have I put this box in this zone? Remember, this is also another trend line that was broken. This is another trend line that was broken. So once the market breaks that trend line, we want to see the market to that trend line, but in the presence of a psychological level. Now, should the market come and give us a reversal pattern at this area, this will be one of the best trades that we shall have next week. Because this is why we have a psychological level in that area. We have a trend line that has broken in that same area. And also we have another trend line that is giving us a third touch on that same area. This is also another trend line that has given us a third touch in that same area. So once that happens, it means that this trend line, this entry will be the best entry we can ever have next week. This entry, a buy position from here, will be one of the best you can ever have on EURUSD. So let's wait for next week and see what happens. If the market sells up to this area and then fits into this zone and then also gives us a reversal pattern, then we're going to take our trade on a buy on EURUSD, expecting the market to continue moving up to the upside to break this trend line and then also continue. Now going to AUD/USD, also same thing happens. Guys, the same strategy is also working on this area. The same strategy is still working. So you can see the market breaks this trend line, and then we say we were waiting for the market to come and retest this trend line on a psychological level. The market comes and then also fits here, but the psychological was not reached. So the entry on AUD/USD was because of this psychological level, not this one. Now it was more of a hanging trade. It is a hanging trade because it does not give us the real information about the psychological. If you watch the video that I uploaded last time, I said that we're waiting for the market to give us reasons to go into the sell. So we want to see the market break this trend, and of course it has done. And then preferably we want to see the market come and maybe sell to this point and then come back to this area before we get the sell off of that area. So this trade on AUDUSD was not really possible for, according to our strategy, did not play out very well because it has not fed us into the psychological level and also has not retested this trend line that we have actually been trading off of. So AUDUSD was not a trade yet, but we want to see the market break below this area and preferably give us a trade on AUDUSD if we're going to have a massive sell-off anyways. Now, USD CHF also has the same playbook. We can see that the market broke this trend line, and then the market came back to retest that trend line. But the trend line that was retested, the market did not reach to that trend line. It did not touch that trend line. But what happened is it meets this other trend line that had been surviving for a long time and gives us a third touch on that trend line. That's why we entered on a USD CHF. When the market comes and rejects this trend line, then we take that trade at that area and we are targeting the next trend line. Now remember, this trend line has been broken. So we want to see the market come to retest this trend line, preferably at this area. That's why I've put this box also here, just like the trade we had on Euro USD. So we have this box here. Preferably the market would go around this area, move in this zigzag move until we feed into. So once it feeds into this area on this trend line and this psychological level, then we are going to take another sell on the USD CHF and expect another massive move. And finally, our big guy gold also happens and did the same exact thing. Now look at what gold did. We also have a trend line that comes, a bearish trend line over here that the market has fed into. So we want to see the market, we would like to see the market break. And this was the trend line that was broken that we've been trading off of. So we had this trend line, the market broke below it, and then now market had to come to test that trend line on a psychological level. Let's put another psychological level, preferably here, to be able to understand what we are saying. So we can see there's a psychological level over here that the market has come to reject this psychological level, but it also meets with another trend that has been bearish there. So that means we are feeding into this rejection and also retesting this trend line, even if it has broken above that trend line, but it is retesting, but the retest must happen at psychological level. Now, this is how we filter fake outs. That's how we filter false breakouts and fake outs on people who are trading trend lines, just direct trend line break. So for example, you're trading a trend line break, you would have entered at this zone, right? And if you're trading a retest of that trend line, you would have maybe entered at this zone, and then you would be also faked out. So how do we filter that? We want to see the trend line retested, but at a psychological level. And then also on top of that, it gives you a candlestick reaction that shows that we are going to be bearish. Let's look at 30. So 30-minute time frame, you can see this bearish rejection. Market rejects the massively and then comes back and then feeds in that area and then gives us another rejection from here. And then we are saying now we are going to take a sell from this area and then we want to take these lows. And preferably now what happens next week is we want to see the market come and feed us into this trend line. If it rejects this trend line, then we're going to be buying. But this area is going to be very, very principal. I'm going to increase this to 4. Decisions are going to be made in this area. So what we could have is, one, is we would have to have the market come to drop to this area and then reject off of that trend to give us a third touch on that trend line, and then we go up on gold. Or we would love to have this market break below this trend line and then comes to retest it. So we can have also a path like this. Market comes and breaks below this area, come to retest this zone, this trend line with a psychological level, and then we also have a massive sell-off of gold. So if that happens, then we are going to be also even more taking more money home with gold, selling to these lows, and even if possible, taking up to this trend line which is down here, or even to these lows that are over here. There's a low here, there's a low here, there's a low here. There are a lot of points that we could take off, but I'm taking this low first from this trade that we have entered. We want to take this low first of all, maybe take money off of this low, then we can see what the market is doing next. If it gives us momentum to continue selling, then we're going to continue selling. If it doesn't, then we're going to continue to see how we can get another better trade. So it's then cashpips again, and this is going to be our weekly outlook for now. And let's see how it goes and plays out next week. I sign out for now. Thank you so much.